Hi everyone, welcome back to Bob's Delights. Today we're going to be looking at a new game from the Dark Imp, designed by Ellie Dix. It's Uranus, or Uranus. Yes, you can have lots of fun with this game. I wanted to preview this one for you, because I've been watching Dark Imp for a long time. They do lots of family games, lots of little games, and they do these, what they call them, their bigger box games. This one's a co-op. Co-ops work well with a family because everyone wins and loses together. And it also has solo rules, so you can play this one solo. And it's got different layers of depth here. Let's have a look inside and I'll show you what this is all about. This one comes with some whiteboards. It's a resource management game, effectively, but you're also building these little networks. You're playing these alien races that inhabit the moons around Uranus. You have to mine the rocks of your moon, build tunnels to connect those mines together, and then research weaponry, rockets, spaceships, various other upgrades to launch a spaceship from your moon. There's lots of different ones, so it plays 1 to 6, I think. 1 to 6. And reach Uranus. And here you use the moon rocks that you ship to build these little modules, and every player in the game has to launch to a completed module and everyone wins together. There are some different layers to the game. So for example, if you want to play a little bit competitively, you've got a set of personal objectives. So even though you all win and lose together, there could be an ultimate winner if you are the only one to complete your personal objective. Everybody's moon is developed with mines and tunnels, and you all get a dry erase pen so you can develop things on here, like so you can build new mines, you can build tunnels that link them together, you can fortify your mines, and you can create a launch pad from where to launch your spaceship. Every game plays a little bit differently because everybody's moon looks different. Everybody's alien race has different abilities. Okay, so there's 1 of 6 to choose from. And also your starting mines are different. So there's a set of randomizer cards that say where your mines begin at the start of the game. So with lots of these different layers of randomization, random moon, random race, random starting mines, every game you play will be a little bit different. There's also Asteroid Events. So the game's going to play through a number of rounds. You've got this tracker here to say you start here and the game ends when you reach the end, in which case you lose the game, or it ends if everybody completes the mission to Uranus before we get to this point. But along the way there'll be these asteroid events, and then random events will be appearing, or impacts will be appearing on your moon that's going to be knocking out some of your infrastructure. And if it hits this spot, which is a volcano, then there's this added eruption event. Okay, why don't I demo some gameplay and you can see how this works. To play the game, grab one of the alien races. So I'm going to be the Falcafridi. The Falcafridi are miners, and they've got some special abilities. So each different race has a different special ability or set of abilities. There's cooperative ones, so you can help out your neighbours, and there's ones that work more for you. And take a moon. Each player also takes a card to show where their starting mines will be. We're going to go mark those out. Every moon has 4 mines on it to start with anyway. These are represented by these black dots. And then you'll get an additional set of mines as well. So we look at these, we've got a red sector, yellow sector and blue sector. So these coordinates tell you where to put your mine. So 3 minus 2 minus 1. So there's an extra mine here. And then 1 minus 3, 2. So 1 minus 3, 2, just here. 0, 0, 0, which is in the middle here. And then minus 1, 2, minus 1. And yeah, you can see that one's already taken. So we'll go to the fifth, okay? So it's minus 1, minus 1, which is that one there, 2. Lovely. That's given us 8 mines. Now, you always start with 10 mines, so we've got to place 2 more. Our extra 2 is a bit of a free choice. We can decide where we want to place them. I think I'd like to place them one here on green, one here on red. Okay, so these spots, these mines, produce rocks of the colour of the hex they're on. And the rocks can be used to build these upgrades. So for example, tunnels need 2 green, there's a slash here, or 1 blue. Okay, the telescope needs 3 green or 3 blue, and so on and so on. An interesting factor here, of course, is that because none of this is random, okay, alright, the setup is. So, but you can play with the same setup each time, but because like here I'm using Falcafridi and board number 1, but you might be Falcafridi board number 2, and then things change. But otherwise it's quite deterministic. Now there is a random element, because what you don't know is what's going to happen when these asteroids strike. Right? So asteroid strikes look like this. When you're playing multiplayer, there's a pair of these cards in between each set of players. Okay, so you'll have cards to your left and cards to your right. So you don't know what's coming. Now, as it goes, there is a telescope technology that you can learn, and that lets you flip these face up so you can see what's coming. Anyway, remember this is co-op as well, so you're happy to help each other. I should also add, each player takes an imp, so you get one of these little imps, a little imp, and this will be when you send it off to Uranus. You'll occupy one of these completed bases. Okay, so you'll complete it by sending off your mined moon rocks. Remember, you occupy it with your imp, and then other players will have to go find another base. Okay. Once everyone's got here, then you win the game. All right. So let's see. We've got the turn phases. First step, move up the asteroid track. Then we do mines and transports. In this stage, every mine on your board will produce a piece of rock of its colour. Now we would transport, and we haven't got any tunnels built, so we can't transport any rocks around just yet. I'll show you what happens when we do. Now, as it goes, the Falcafridi have a special ability. The same way we may donate 1 moon rock to 1 neighbouring moon each turn, so we can donate to our neighbours. We're playing solo, so we're not going to use that. But it says 2 mines. In actual fact, I think Ellie said that in the solo rules, there'll be a flip side to these boards, and they'll have a different ability, so look out for that. Okay, we've got another ability. 2 mines produce double moon rocks, and these mines may change each turn. So we can decide 2 of these mines produce double rocks. I'm going to make it the 2 green ones. Could be any combination that I wish. So that's mine, and it says transport. We don't have any tunnels, so we're not going to transport anything. Next phase, use and remove. Now this is where we start using the moon rocks to fill in these spaces. So for example, if we wanted to build a tunnel, it would cost 2 green or 1 blue. Weaponry, for example, is 1 green and 1 blue and 1 purple, or 3 red or 3 silver. Okay, so ands and ors, look out for them. Now we've got 2 green, 1 blue, 1 blue. I could build weaponry. I could perhaps, there's 2 green here, so that's enough to fill that box. You can't keep any change. Okay. So for example, if I had 2 blues, let's say I doubled up those instead of the greens, that's not 4 blue, that's 2 blue and 2 blue. So 2 blue is enough to build 1 tunnel. It costs 1, but I have to use all of them to fulfill that. I can't do that twice. Does that make sense? This one costs 3 blue. 2 blue's not enough to fill it. I want to build tunnels. So let's use these to do that. I don't want to do weaponry, although I could. And I don't have enough resources to do anything else. All right, you might say, well, you've got 3 red, why don't you do this? But they're not 3 red. That's 3 lots of 1 red. Okay, the 3 red all have to be in one spot. And that's where the tunnels come in. We build tunnels, and then we can transport rocks to build piles of bigger amounts that we can use to fulfill a single spot. Hopefully it's beginning to make sense. So I want to build tunnels. So I'm going to use this 1 blue, and I'm going to use this 1 blue, and tick off 2 spots on the tunnel track. I might use these 2 greens to tick off another, right? Because tunnels cost 2 greens or 1 blue. This spot, just by adding another spot here, that actually gives me 4 tunnels. If I add another one, that's going to give me 7 tunnels. Let's spend that. 7 tunnels. Okay, and I think that's everything that we can do. Single reds, single purples, single silvers don't help me. Okay, there's a single red here, but I need to have 3 greens with it for a rocket. Alright, so there we go. That's use and remove. Anything that we've not used gets removed. They all come off. Alright, back in the supply. Next phase is build and activate. We've got enough to build 7 tunnels. I don't have to build. I could save that, maybe next time add a couple more and get up to 11 or 15 even. But I want to build now. Now, once I've made a decision to build, everything gets wiped. Okay, I've got 7, I got up to 7, I could build 7 tunnels, but I may only end up building 6, but it still all gets wiped. Even if I just built 1, it all gets wiped. Okay, choose to build from a thing, it gets wiped. Right, so now I can place 7 tunnels. How do I place tunnels? This is where I can start drawing lines. A tunnel is a line from one hex to another. Okay, so let's build a tunnel here. That's 1 of my 7. You do have to be a little bit careful you're not rubbing this off accidentally. 2, 3, 4, and then I think I'll go here. And when here that's 5. I've got 2 more I can build if I wish. And I think I'm going to build here and here. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tunnels. Okay, connecting my mines. Actually, do you know what? I don't think I want that tunnel. Let's put it here instead. That's it. That's the end of round 1. Ready for round 2? So first phase, asteroid track, that moves up. Now our moon produces its rocks. And because of the Falcafredi special ability, 2 mines produce double rocks. I'm going to have these 2 green ones produce double rocks. Right, but now we've got tunnels. So we don't just mine, we now transport. When we transport, any mines connected must all now collect their resources at one of the mines. Okay, so this one moves, this one moves. Okay. There's no further connections. These 2 aren't connected. Yeah. So now we've got 2 purples and a silver, 2 greens, 2 greens, 2 reds. You can see the importance of tunnels now, right? So when we come to the next phase, phase 3, use and remove. This time I want to build a mine. Mines cost 2 greens, 2 purples, 2 silvers, or 3 of different colours. I don't have 3 of different colours, but I've got 2 purples and a silver here. I can use those to fulfill 1 mine. Tick it off. I need to tick off 3 boxes before I get to number 1. That's 1 mine. I've got 2 greens. I can tick off another. 2 greens. I can tick off another. I've got 2 reds here. they don't really help me. Not yet. I've got 2 single blues, so 1 and 1. That's 2 spots here. I'm happy with that. Alright, now let's build and activate. So I didn't use the single red. I didn't use the double red. Yeah, they don't do anything just yet. Let's build. Let's build our 2 tunnels. I'm going to do this. 1, 2. Okay, join those in. And let's build our 1 mine. Okay. If I'd have gone 2 more, I could have got 2 mines. But no, I'm going to use it now. I could have saved it, but I'm going to use it now and build a single mine. I'm going to put another green one here. Okay. Alright, next turn. Let's mine. We'll have 2 produce double. Then we transport. Use and remove. 2 single blues. 2 tunnels. 2 greens. And 2 greens. For a mine. And a mine. We'll use these 2 purples for a mine. This time I'm going to build a single mine, and we're going to put the blue one here. We're going to build 2 tunnels, so we're going to spend those. I'm going to build a tunnel here and a tunnel here. These we're not using, so they'll be removed. Round 4. Let's mine. We'll have 2 produce extras, so I'll put a red here, extra red here and extra green here. Transport. Now this time I'm going to use the 2 single blues to make 2 tunnel spots. 3 reds I'm going to use to learn the first part of the... Actually, do I use for telescope or weaponry? Let's go for telescope. And then I can use the 3 greens to do the second telescope. What you'll see is the telescope's not actually discovered until you hit the star. So you need 2 spots filled in to discover each one of these technologies. And then the launch pad requires 5 cubes of different colours, which I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's wasted. 5 cubes of different colours to do the first stage of the launch pad. I do need rocket technology in order to be able to use the launch pad, but I can do that shortly, I think. A launch pad puts a circle on your moon, a fortification, a square. Right, now it's round 5 and we get our first asteroid. Now because I've discovered telescope, a telescope's going to work, each of these stays with you. It's not like when you build, right, and you use up. These things are permanent. So these are now face up for the rest of the game. So my telescope's a little bit too late for me to do anything about these, but on future ones, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will see what's coming. Now how do these impacts work? So let's do the one on the left first. They're both pretty bad, because they've got these triangles on it. It shows you that they're actually really large impacts. If you want to start with an easier game, take the triangles out. So let's do this. Let's see what we get this time. Right, much easier to deal with. So, where does this impact happen? It happens at -1, -2, which is here. And then you can orient this however you wish. Now these spaces will go dark. We can choose, as long as it's covering this point of impact, we can choose where it goes. So let's say we make it go here and here. Okay? 2 spots. Now we've got to do the second one. This one is at 1, -3. Yeah, this one's actually going to hit my purple mine. That's not great. So that's going. Maybe this one would have been better like this. Yeah, then this one can go like this. Say 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay, so that was my impact point, and that was my impact point. I made it go this way, and then that one in here like this. You can flip them as well, okay, like a mirror image as well. Okay, but we have lost a mine. That goes, that tunnel into there. So you can see how, although the early turns things build up a little bit slowly, suddenly this starts happening. Now we draw new ones, so we know what's going to come next, right? So those go away. They're still pretty mean, but I can see that this one's going to happen 3, 1. It's going to hit this spot here. So now the telescopes help me, right? So what I could do then is start building fortifications. Fortification costs 3 dice of different colours. So I've got this big long one here which was helping me build a launch pad, but I might decide for the next 2 turns I'm actually going to use this to create a fortification. If I build a fortification, and it takes 2 to do it, and then it's spent, I can put a square around like this. Now if that gets, this is kind of immune to attack. The other option you've got is weaponry. So I could build some weapons. So look at this. So at the beginning of the game I was tempted by this, right? So 2 here gets me a weapon. You don't need it because you can create a space gun, but once you've built weaponry, you cross out the first 2 spaces of your space gun. Okay? So perhaps there's another option, right? Instead of fortification I could build a space gun. So with the space gun, if I do this twice and fill up here, you can fire your space gun. You can save it for when you decide to use it, but when you decide to use it, just like when you're building tunnels and mines, all the spaces are crossed off. If I've got the weaponry just down to green, we can eliminate either an attack to the left or an attack to the right. And in a multiplayer game, obviously work with your neighbours. So there's lots of nice cooperation here. So let's kind of roll ahead a little bit here. Let's say I've connected, let's do this. Let's say this is what's happened, all right? This got destroyed somehow. Okay. And let's say I'll put on my launch pad. Let's say I put it here. Launch pads need to be built around an existing mine. Okay, and then like tunnels, mines, forts, space guns, these are consumables, right? It's only these learned technologies that are permanent. So we've built a launch pad. During phase 3, which is use and remove, we can instead, we've got a rocket to launch and we've got a launch pad. Those resources that gets transported there, because they're on the same network of tunnels, they would all get transported to your launch pad. Instead of using them to build stuff on here, you can launch your rocks to Uranus. And we place them on a single module on Uranus. Now you don't have to fill up one of these spots. You can, start filling things up. So I've only got 2 greens, I've got 2 purples, 3 blues. And then I might have to come back on a subsequent turn to fill in these extra ones. This extra stuff is called space junk. Space junk means you have to draw one of these cards. Okay? It's unused stuff that goes floating around in space. And space junk does bad stuff. It can do good stuff, but this one says space junk falls on home moon and it can be used alongside other resources next turn. Okay, so it falls on your home moon. This one hits an asteroid, causing it to explode. This one changes the direction of the asteroid. This one does bad stuff. Stored resources for tunnels and mines on home moon are hit and wiped out. Right, so these tracks get wiped out by that space junk. So this space junk, you never know what it's going to do. But if you plan cleverly, you might complete a module and minimize the impact of space junk. Now when you get this condition, you've got a completed module, not necessarily built by you, Different players can help build these modules. And you can see some modules are small, some modules are large. You've got an active launch pad on your moon. And you've got the spaceship technology. This is where the spaceship technology comes in. Remember, your rocket and your launch pad is what you need to get your rocks from your moon to Uranus. The spaceship is needed for your people. Once you've built your spaceship, you can send your imp to an unoccupied module, and you've flown your race. They've left the moon and now inhabit Uranus. You can't do anything more for the rest of the game. So in a multiplayer game now, other players will be looking to fill up some of these other spots. Okay, you can't have two imps on the same module. So other players will now have to start filling up their own modules. And once everyone's there, before the end of the game, then you're victorious. Great fun, great fun. All these different races have different abilities. Our Shantans can defend neighbouring moons. They start with the telescope technology. Okay, you don't have to develop it. And fortifications only cost 2, right, not 3. Right, shooters allows you to fire a space gun more cheaply and at neighbouring moons. Weaponry's already been discovered, you see. The Kroviots are builders. So mines only cost 2 spaces instead of 3. Okay. Let's get your first one. You can build mines on neighbours. You can remove tunnels and mines at no cost. So you can move stuff. If you want to remove tunnels, you can do. This tunnels lets you add as well as remove. And then we've got the Galapagos. You can develop technologies for neighbours. The spaceship technology has already been discovered, but you can develop it and learn it for others. So lots of cooperative skills. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed this quick demo and overview of Uranus. Thanks for watching. See you next time.